so much more mellow.
Yes.
It would help the entire country.
Yeah, hamburger stands all over the place would make record highs.
Exactly. People get fat, but you know what? Whatever. You were going to get fat anyway. You were looking for an excuse.
We're already there. We talked to Willie today. He's in North Carolina, and he's like, I forgot how fat people are in the South.
Oh, they get big. Outside of Colorado, they get real big. Mm-hmm. Colorado, like, especially Boulder, where I live, everybody's biking and
running and
hiking and everything. I wonder what that is. Why does one area attract so many people that are, like, into athletics?
I don't know, especially since we kind of sometimes have harsh winters. I mean, we get pounded on with snow.
But then people go skiing and snowboarding. And
there's so much to do here. What do you do physically? Like
just jiu-jitsu, work out, lift weights, do jiu-jitsu. I hike with a gun. I do. I take a gun with me when I hike. There's animals out there that want to eat you.
I'm like, it's Colorado. It's not Compton, but I get it.
I saw a mountain lion the other day.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't a big one, but, you know, that means a big one gave birth to it. Mm-hmm. You know, it was like 50, 60 pounds, something like that.
Yeah, I've run into bears, too.
That's scary, man. That's a real wild predator that's just wandering around. And the only reason why they're not targeting you is because they don't eat you on a regular basis. If you were a natural part of their food chain, they would attack. They would, like, some animals that, like, get used to eating people, like tigers in India or polar bears, they hunt people.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, that's real. You know, that's scary stuff.
That would be crazy.
These neighbors, like, have no problem with it. It's so strange. Like, they have this, like, newsletter in my town, and, like, people, like, will email everybody when they saw a mountain lion. And this one lady's like, well, why don't we email when we see all different types of wildlife? They're a part of our natural environment. We shouldn't get so excited about it. Why don't you send an email every time you see a deer? Well, it's because deers don't eat your kids, you stupid bitch. Like, you're talking about a wild monster that you spotted in your neighborhood. If it was a goblin, wouldn't you be a little excited about it?
So.
Yeah, if there was a goblin hopping over people's fences and eating their dogs, wouldn't you get a little excited about that? Well, it is a goblin. You just call it a mountain lion. That's a monster. That's a crazy monster that kills things to stay alive.
I hear you. I had a schnauzer eaten by a mountain lion.
Woo!
And a kid I went to school with.
God.
Very tragic.
Kid you went to school with? Got eaten?
I went to school up in Idaho Springs, and he was running track outside, and he got attacked by a mountain lion.
Whoa! Mm-hmm. God damn! That is going to be the most terrifying way to go ever.
He was struck from behind, so we're pretty sure he just, blacked out.
Well, that's what they say about mountain lions, and all big cats, they like get you from behind. That's why in India, the census workers, that have to figure out how many tigers there are out there in the field. There's like 3 guys with rifles, scared, and one guy's got a clipboard, and they all have these helmets on. These helmets are to protect the back of their neck, because that's where the tigers usually jack you, and they all have masks put on the back of their helmets so that the tiger gets tricked into thinking they're facing them, because tigers like to attack you from behind.
Pussies.
How trippy is that?
That's crazy.
Ooh, that's a scary way to go.
Yes, it is. Do you want to take some phone calls?
Sure.
It's your show.
Whatever. Let's do this.
All right.
Any particular line there? You got a list of calls.
Go to line 9. Norm's a regular on a show. Norm, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you today, Missy?
Good. I know what you want to talk about. Your favorite topic.
Norm.
That's right.
What's going on, Norm?
I want to talk about some weed in this movie that Joe did called The Union.
Oh, yeah, the documentary. Yeah, that was a good documentary. These guys from Canada made a documentary about the business of marijuana and how it literally supports a big chunk of British Columbia's economy. And it's sort of this underground thing.
$7 billion worth.
Yeah, and that's a lot of that gets imported here, too. You know, again, illegally, for no reason. It doesn't hurt anybody. The craziest thing about marijuana is it was made illegal because of hemp, because of the fibers. It wasn't made illegal because of its psychoactive properties. William Randolph Hearst conspired to make hemp illegal, and he used his newspapers so that he wouldn't have to convert all his paper mills into hemp paper, and so that he wouldn't. And he had there was a thing with DuPont too, because DuPont was just coming out with a chemical composition for nylon, and that was going to be in competition with hemp, because hemp is what they use for ropes. So they all conspired, and this guy Harry Anslinger, and they decided to put out these stories that these Mexicans and blacks were taking this drug and they were raping white women. And this drug is called marijuana. And what marijuana really is a Mexican wild tobacco. It's not even, cannabis wasn't even marijuana. They didn't even call it marijuana. They used this name to attach to this plant. And when Congress made it illegal, they didn't even know they were making the textile hemp illegal. They had no idea. They thought they were making marijuana illegal. They didn't know it was the same thing. It was a horrible trick. And that trick has been going on for over 70 years. I mean, it's amazing with the amount of information that we have access to, with all the medical studies that have been done, and there's no bodies, there's no no one's dying, no one's died ever. Like, you literally can't die if you smoke too much pot. You just fall asleep. You know, I mean, literally, and then you wake up, you don't even have a headache. It's like the craziest drug ever. It doesn't make any sense. And still,
and
to this day,
those numbers you were given, you know, that was in 2006 when you did that movie.
yeah,
Those numbers are way different now. They said that in 2006, only 5% of the bud came from Canada, and like 35% came from Mexico. And I would bet that has totally changed now, because I ain't smoked swag in frickin' 6 years.
wow, how dare
Amen.
you? Yeah, I think you're right. A lot of it comes from, but you know what? There's a lot of people know how to grow it now. There's 100 different websites that'll teach you how to grow it. There's books that teach you how to grow it. You know, there's not like people for like 10, 15 years ago. You buy weed and you were just getting garbage. You know, you didn't even know where they didn't know what they were doing. They're growing it in their basement. It's it's not good.
Ditch weed, pretty
These
much.
guys are scientists.
Yeah,
Colorado has wonderful weed.
Scientists.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
And I'm part
thanks
of
for
it.
your call,
as good as there is anywhere in the world, right here.
Awesome. Let's go to line number 1. We got Uncle Nasty on the phone. What's up?
Hey, Joe, it's Nasty.
Hey, Uncle Nasty.
Hey, Scoop.
How are you,
Missy.
buddy?
How are you doing?
Hey, you know, when you were talking to me about moving here, I failed to mention wildlife.
Oh, the wild animals that you have to run away from? Yeah. Well, you know what, man? I just keep an eye out. It's pros and cons everywhere you live.
Get a large dog.
Yeah, I've got one. I've got a Mastiff.
Okay.
He's about
You're
a
good.
$1.45.
Hey, we don't have earthquakes
No
and
earthquakes.
massive fires as of right now, so...
Joe,
It's
how
way
are
better.
you with snow?
I'm fine. I grew up in Boston.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
what I thought.
No big deal. And the snow here is nothing. Even the cold here. I was back in Boston last week, and it was like 40 one day, and I was dying, freezing. It could be like 15 here, and it doesn't feel that cold.
Yep.
It's different.
It
Dry.
doesn't stick to you. Right?
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't cut right through you. It's like you're standing in a meat locker, which is not nearly as bad as like that windy Boston, like knife cold.
Because you're right there on the coast.
Yeah, it just gets you right in your ass bone. It hurts. It hurts. Like you get in your car and you scream when you're starting your car. You turn your heat on, you're screaming. Screaming, and you're white knuckling, and you're gritting your teeth. You try to get some energy in your body because you're so cold. It's a different kind of cold.
Hey, UFC prediction.
I don't give predictions, sir.
Well, what do you think about our boy Carwin
He's awesome.
and Lesnar?
It's
coming
an
up?
amazing fight. You know, he's a very dangerous guy, Shane Carwin. He can knock anybody out with one punch. The dude is 11-0, and not one fight has made it out of the first round. I mean, you're talking about a dude. He's going to weigh about 290 when he steps into the octagon.
Ooh,
It's the only time Brock is ever so far in his career. He's had a short career, really, considering the fact that he's a champion. But the only time he's ever faced anybody that has the same attributes that he has. A gigantic wrestler, a guy who's not going to be 230 or 220 like Randy Couture. He's going to be 290. Okay, and he can knock anybody out with one punch. I mean, he's
It's
dangerous.
the first test of Lesnar.
Yeah, he's a test for anybody. And the thing about Carwin is Carwin can take a shot. Gonzaga hit him on the button 3-4 times, smashed his nose. His nose was smashed. And then 3 seconds later, Carwin lands one punch and puts Gonzaga to sleep. So he's that guy that even when he's hurt, even when, like you've got him rattled, he still can knock you out with one shot. That's always dangerous.
It's going to be an amazing fight.
But that said, Lesnar is just a freak. He moves like a cat. I mean, he's this big, giant guy, but he's unbelievably explosive. He's so fast. Like, when you see Brock Lesnar fight, like, the thing that's most shocking to me is how quick he is. He just jumps on dudes. It's just like assault. Like, when he got a hold of Frank Mir, literally it felt like I was watching something I shouldn't be watching. He was holding Frank Mir down, and he had him in like this half Nelson headlock, like a crucifix with one arm, and he was cupping his armpit on the left side. So he had just Frank Mir's face tucked into his elbow. There was a little crease there, and he was just beating it down. Boom! 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 And after like the 4th or 5th punch, I felt like, man, I shouldn't be watching this. Like, this is like rape. He's scary. He's a scary dude, but I think that's an amazing fight.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing our boy Shane Carwin.
Shane's going to call in
business
today, too, right? He's going to call in at 8:30?
8:30 we're going to talk with him.
Yeah.
Nice. Big fan.
Yep.
Right on, Joe. Well, welcome to Colorado.
Thank you, sir.
Good
Thank
to
you.
hear you on
I appreciate
the radio,
that.
buddy.
Appreciate it very much.
Thanks
All
for
right.
calling, Nasty.
Thanks, brother.
Cool. Let's rock some Black
Coolest
Betty,
voice.
Ram Jam. Yeah, Uncle
Coolest
Nasty.
voice in radio.
I
right
love
there.
it.
It's real, too. People think,
yeah.
he's just doing that. He's trying to be Wolfman Jack. No,
No.
that's his real voice. He talks like that all the time.
And when people meet him for the first time, I can always hear them saying, God, he looks healthy. He's a healthy looking
Yeah.
guy. He's young. He's vibrant. They expect this big, huge, like
Cigarette
trucker
smoker.
guy. It's
Yeah.
like totally not what he is.
No, I know, totally healthy.
Yeah.
Super nice guy too.